up on Global Business. Official data shows that China's overall employment situation remains stable in the first 3 months of the year. Today is the 8th annual Space Day. We take a closer look at China's aerospace industry and the country's major achievements in the sector. The United Nations World Data Forum kicks off in Hangzhou to explore how data can be used to achieve sustainable development. Hello, welcome to this edition of Global Business on CGTN. I'm Zhu Feng in Beijing. China's overall employment situation remains stable in the first 3 months of this year, according to official data. From January to March, a total of 2.97 million new urban jobs were created, and the surveyed urban unemployment came in at 5.5%. To better boost graduates' employment, nearly 200 job fairs were jointly held by large and medium-sized cities, providing 4.2 million positions. Meanwhile, a total of 38 million jobs were created for migrant workers during the same period. Steps also taken to push forward professional skills training. Over 3.5 million people were trained. China's workforce and its future has been making headlines recently, with concerns over the country's population decline. However, officials are now looking towards a different focus, with an emphasis on the quality of the workforce. Our reporter Huang Fei investigates how the Great Bay Area is a prime example of how smaller, high-caliber teams of skilled workers are making significant advances in technology and create jobs.
Microchips. They may be the smallest and yet most important product in our digital world. The semiconductor that runs everything from smartphones to electric cars is the focus of Dr. Lu's research. For the past decade, he's been testing new materials and helping chip users troubleshoot.
You can think of us as both a nursery and a hospital. Using computer algorithms, we can predict how a new chip will behave before it's even born. We also take in malfunctioning chips and find ways to make them more durable.
Dr. Lu is a beneficiary of China's innovation and modernization drive. The country's R&D expenditure tripled during his tenure in Guangzhou. Cutting-edge infrastructure like these supercomputers enables small teams of scientists to achieve big breakthroughs.
Our supercomputing center has served more than 200 teams over 7 years. It's especially important in ocean and climate studies, as well as biology. The number of calculations it's done would have taken a high-performing family computer 4,000 years to complete.
China wants the Greater Bay Area to become a center of world-class talent by 2035. The tech-driven hub already generates 12% of the nation's GDP, which is 6% of the total population. The numbers convey an important narrative. Population size isn't everything. It's the quality that matters. Guangdong continues to welcome skilled workers from Hong Kong. Financial incentives and a short commute to key supply hubs attract startups to the coastal province. Meanwhile, the new Hong Kong University of Science and Technology campus in the city of Guangzhou adds fresh talent to the equation.
This means Guangdong now has a leading research university on the upstream, matched with a strong manufacturing sector on the downstream. The future of collaboration between academia and industry is filled with potential.
Last year, the Greater Bay Area's GDP reached $2 trillion. Dr. Lu is confident his institute will continue to contribute to China's modernization by converting world-class research into commercial applications. Huang Fei, CGTN, Guangzhou.
The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs recently stated that the country's talent dividend is taking shape as innovation-driven development strategy fosters high-quality talent and boosts economic growth. To delve further into how talent can contribute to China's high-quality development, our Kate Kui interviewed Lei Xiaoyan, Director of Center for Healthy Aging and Development at Peking University, Wang Fei, Research Fellow at National Academy of Development and Strategy at Renmin University of China, and Huang Yuqing, Founder and CEO of Mega Robo Technologies. Let's take a closer look at their insights.
Released a report recently indicating that the Indian population to exceed China and become a #1 globally. In the meantime, there are also a lot of reports on the shrinking working force in China, as well as the growing pension fund burden. How do we look at this full picture?
Our population has been increasing over the past few years, but recently we have seen a decline. The impact of this decline has been perceived as significant, mainly due to the fact that we did not have a precise evaluation of when this downward trend would occur. In reality, population decline is an expected outcome of economic development, as fertility rates naturally decrease over time. India will outnumber us in population. We have previously said we have a demographic dividend, with a large population being one of its key components. Another important aspect is a favorable age structure, with a high proportion of the population being of working age. So if the population is surpassed by India, people tend to panic. However, we must view this challenge dialectically, recognizing that population quality is just as important as quantity and age structure. Education levels have been improving in the past few decades, and we have also enjoyed talent dividends. There's still a significant potential for improving the quality of our human capital in the future. There's no need to panic, as there are opportunities for us to continue improving in this regard.
Well, we're definitely facing an aging society. Are we getting well prepared for that?
I think the key is the productivity. So although we have maybe in the future the shrinking size of the labor force, but once the productivity of labor has been enhanced, then the total output and then the support for the elderly will not be that serious problem. Right now, China is on the right track to take every possible measure to boost the technology, to boost the productivity from the human capital accumulation. China is doing very well and on the right track.
What about AI and automation? What can those technology improvements do to facilitate this high quality growth?
AI can at least do two things. First, AI can release the human beings from some routine tasks, so that the talents can focus more on more creative and innovative and complicated missions to maximize the values of the talents. The second, I think the AI can collaborate with people well in the future, because when talents make decisions, they need information, they need big data. And AI can do this job.
Well, finally, on how AI will bring more efficiency to us in this population shrinking society, I've also spoken to Daniel Huang, Mega Robo. He explained to us how AI is reshaping pharmaceutical industry in China and globally.
In fact, whether it's chemistry or biology, there are many instruments and equipment used in life science laboratories. Previously, these instruments were segregated, and a substantial amount of human labor was required to handle and transfer samples in between. We provide clients with automation equipment that covers various stages, from early research and development to the entire experimental process. This enables our clients to release laboratory staff from repetitive tasks. One of our typical products can replace the workload of approximately 16 laboratory technicians. This significantly improves the repeatability and consistency of experiments, which represents significant value to our clients. This is truly a new industrial revolution. As a company that provides advanced productivity tools to the industry, Mega Robo has long recognized the significant impact of AI. Combining AI with automation can unleash even greater potential.
You're watching Global Business. Coming up next. Today is the 8th annual Space Day. We take a closer look at China's aerospace industry and the country's major achievements in the sector.
Our Fields of Hope special series is back.
The CGTN team is in East China's Jiangxi province,
a place where ancient craftsmanship shapes timeless treasures.
Bamboos and tea fields flow like emerald waves of serenity.
And a symphony of spice ignites a warmth of flavor.
Jiangxi witnessed countless figures in the hallowed halls of Chinese history.
Development and progress are meeting culture and tradition here.
Bienvenidos a Jiangxi.
Marhaban bikum fi Jiangxi.
Join us Jiangxi's countryside, only on CGTN.
China marked its 8th annual Space Day on Monday with the release of a series of images of Mars taken by the country's first mission to the red planet. The colored image captured by the Tianwen-1 Mars probe were released by China National Space Administration and the Chinese Academy of Sciences. They will provide better quality base maps for the country's future Mars exploration and scientific research. The Tianwen-1 probe was launched in July 2020 and touched down on Mars in May 2021. China's National Space Administration has also said that it will deliver Chang'e 5 moon samples to France and Russia. The country reiterated that it's committed to building a community with a shared future in outer space. Over the past decade, China has completed its aerospace industrial system. The most remarkable milestones are the permanent space station Tiangong, sent into orbit in 2021. It could replace the International Space Station, which is due to be decommissioned in 2031. The Chang'e 5 moon probe brought back over 1.7 kilograms of samples in 2020. That's more than all the samples collected from the moon in the previous landings of probes. There's also Beidou, the third operational satellite navigation system after America's GPS and Russia's GLONASS. Others include Shenzhou manned spaceship and the Changzheng 5B rocket and Tianwen asteroid probes. Hefei, the capital city of central China's Anhui province, is not a city known for hosting spectacular rocket launches, but as Sun Ye reports, it's becoming one of the country's fastest growing center for developing new space technology. Take a look.
Hefei, the host city for this year's Space Day of China, moved to accelerate what it calls the promising racetrack of aerospace and aviation information industry in 2021. In less than 2 years, the city has signed on more than 30 projects with an investment commitment of over 20 billion yuan. Companies have come to view Hefei as a hub for the space industry. Among them is GeoVis, a tech company that develops products for use in aerospace data systems and services. GeoVis has opened 4 branches in Hefei over the past 24 months, with revenue totaling 252 million yuan.
The development of the aerospace information industry in the whole of Anhui province has been very fast over the past 2 years. And what we're doing in the field of commercial aerospace dovetails with policies and has received great support in Hefei. Speaking of commercial aerospace development, we can see, for example, that China has a large commercial satellite launch plan, and that, of course, requires commercial companies to provide services.
Hefei's 5-year plan envisions the creation of a satellite manufacturing industry worth 10 billion yuan by 2025 as part of a 100 billion yuan aerospace and aviation information industry. The city is also home to many research labs and cutting-edge science and technology centers. It's committed to using that scientific prowess to power up the space information industry. Sun Ye, CGTN, Hefei in Anhui Province.
To understand more about the current status of China's aerospace development, we're joined by Zhang Yichi, founder and CEO of Space Lab China, a commercial aerospace technology company. Thank you for joining us. What is the current status of China's commercial aerospace development, and what are the prospects for the future?
Well, I believe commercial space will become the industry norm in the next 10 years, including mega constellations for communication and surveillance. The current challenge for us is to lower the cost to space enough to bring entire new industries to space. And I believe now China is on the rise of commercial space sector, including our supply chains being built over the last 5 years. And especially this year, I believe China has invested both in R&D and in commercial space laws and commercial launch sites to support this industry. China will become aerospace superpower, especially in commercial aerospace, in the next 10 years.
In line with the 20th National Congress of the CPC last year, what specific policy measures have China implemented to strengthen its aerospace industry, including R&D, as you just mentioned, and probably training and financing?
Well, first of all, especially in R&D, now the government supports, especially in subsidies, for business and universities to cooperate. Especially on this day, the 8th Space Day for China, our company just built a research center with Zhengzhou University of Aeronautics, and that's industry norm now, especially bringing new students and engineering expertise into this business. Also, China has invested in commercial launch sites in Hainan Wenchang, in Ningbo, and in Qinghai to support more launches. And also, we built entire new supply chains to support this business. So aerospace is now on the rise now for China. Also, in the government's perspective, building constellations and investing in surveillance satellites, imaging satellites, the government actually supports this for other commercial companies and business, for them to use those data and communication services from the aerospace sector to bring this entire industry up for China.
Right. China has been welcoming international cooperation in aerospace. We've heard stories like China sending samples of the moon to other countries like France. China also welcomes astronauts from other countries to use its Tiangong Aero, those space stations. Can you provide some insights into how China exactly has collaborated and will collaborate with other countries in aerospace development?
Well, now obviously we have the space station now, and that's the only space station up there besides the International Space Station. So the International Space Station is planning on a retirement in the next few years. So the only way for doing long-term space research is to use the Chinese space station. So both in Europe and in the Middle East, and including with the Americans, we're looking forward to cooperating and doing collaborations with them. And also, China now provides one of the lowest way to space. Some of the lowest launch costs are Chinese rockets right now. So countries with no capabilities of sending satellites to space now are relying on China to send low-cost payloads to space for their own space industry and space sector. And also, there are many R&D done right now with foreign countries like Pakistan, Israel, and the Middle East, doing all sorts of medicine research in space, farming research in space. I believe, especially with commercial space on the rise now, cooperation with other countries will be, there will be more and more cooperations and collaborations with foreign countries. That's what I believe.
Very interesting. Thank you so much. That's Mr. Zhang Yichi, founder and CEO of Space Lab China. Still to come on Global Business. The UN World Data Forum kicks off in Hangzhou to explore how data can be used to achieve sustainable development.
.360-degree profiles of industry movers and shakers, tech mavericks, and policymakers. We drill down on their success. We ask how they set strategy and how they navigate in an increasingly competitive market. Real talk, real business. Join the conversation. Biz Talk, only on CGTN.
The fourth United Nations World Data Forum has kicked off in eastern China's Hangzhou city. The event includes discussions on how data can be better used to help achieve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. CGTN's Cheng Yiling has more.
Towards data that empowers our world,
This is theme of 2023 United Nations World Data Forum. Thousands of professionals from government, private sectors, and academia have gathered both online and in person. Organizers say they want the forum to spur data innovation and foster partnerships.
We all know data partnership and innovation are key to ensure that no one is left behind. Successful impact requires that all data and statistics communities represented in this forum find ways to work together to create a new partnership and strengthen the existing ones.
This is the first time that China hosted the forum, as well as the first in the Asia-Pacific region. Organizers hope countries in this region can share their experiences with the world.
I'm very glad that we can bring the World Data Forum closer to this part of the world. In China, I saw some very impressive demonstrations of satellite imagery and how we can use these satellite images for sustainable development. And we can make these presentations here at the forum, then other countries in the world can benefit from this experience.
The forum will last 4 days. 4 main topics discussed include data innovation and cooperation, exploring data's value for better decision-making, improving data credibility, and building a sound data ecology. The forum is expected to be concluded with the Hangzhou Declaration to call for accelerated actions by the data community. A key message of the forum is that good data is important. Amid the fast-changing data landscape, the forum is calling for robust partnerships and bold innovation to promote sustainable development and to ensure that no one is left behind. Chen Yingling, CGTN, Hangzhou, Zhejiang Province.
China has been ramping up efforts to boost cooperation with international organizations in recent years, especially in digital economy and big data. Mao Shengyong, Deputy Commissioner of the National Bureau of Statistics, shared his insights on the subject during the UN's World Data Forum this year. Take a listen.
Our international cooperation in statistics has deepened, and we have achieved lots of results in terms of cooperation with many other countries and key international organizations such as the UN Statistical Department, IMF, World Bank, FAO. And China's statistical international cooperation with all the countries and the international organizations have helped us improve our statistical methods by learning from others. In the meantime, we are sharing our experience statistically. We're also helping other developing countries to improve their statistical work. In 2020, United Nations set up 4 big data regional centers, among which the Asia-Pacific Regional Center is located in Hangzhou. The establishment of this regional center means a lot for China to better use big data in our daily lives and statistics.
Earlier, our reporter Olivia He spoke to Francesca Perucci, Assistant Director of the UN Statistics Division, to get some insights on the importance of the forum.
The World Data Forum, as we gather here in Hangzhou, China, really offers a unique opportunity for this broad data community to come together. So this is why it is so important that we do and we gather regularly. The forum is the 4th of a series, and we have the chance to really come together, exchange ideas, look at the new data solutions that we are able to test, and those that are effective can be scaled up. We talk about investments in data, how to have the necessary resources to advance and scale up those solutions, how to talk to data users, understand their needs, and how to make our data more relevant to their needs. So really the forum is about advancing the overall data agenda, not just the data production, but the data use and the data impact.
And we know that China's been making efforts to promote international statistics cooperation in recent years. How do you evaluate the current stage and future challenges of China's international cooperation in the digital space?
It plays a very important role. Overall, both in the in the official statistical community, China National Bureau of Statistics is a member of the high-level group for partnership, coordination, and capacity building. That's a very important group in our community, brings together member states represented by chief statisticians around the world. And that's the group that sort of defines the overall strategy on how to advance data. And they also look at needs for capacity building, how to address the needs of countries that are still struggling to keep up with the data demands and develop their digital IT infrastructure, their overall data infrastructure. China is also, of course, pioneering many data solutions. They're very strong in their own national data system, and they're able to sort of export that and to participate overall in the international cooperation on data and statistics. We at the UN Statistics Division have worked for years with China in organizing events. They participate in common projects to bring capacity building to countries, and they offer financial support in many instances and through many different initiatives.
ChatGPT and artificial intelligence technology have recently aroused a hot discussion in the industry. Do you think that AI could pose a new cybersecurity threat?
So it's a topic that is very, very important for us, and there is no really assessment to this date of what ChatGPT and other AI the ChatGPT in particular, I would say, we do look at the use of artificial intelligence extensively and how to use data that can produce through AI and how to use them in a way that allows us to leverage these new technologies while at the same time maintaining the adherence to the fundamental principles of official statistics, high quality, and the protection of privacy and confidentiality of data.
The Taihe black-bone chicken is a special breed which still relies on traditional breeding methods. In Jiangxi, sustainable agricultural practices are being used to produce high-quality foals, which also helps to the preserving of the species for generations to come. CGTN's reporter Ning Hong has more from Jiangxi province.
因为这个太好乌鸡啊，是吧？它是一个比较特殊的品种的品种，它饲养时间越长，它的价格是越高。这个饲养方式呢，就是我们讲哈，它也回归一个传统的一个饲养方法，它这样又满足它的一个生长的需要，也符合我们传统的一个饲养模式，也是使它的品质得到更好。
So he's trying to catch one of these silver black-bone chicken for us. Oh, wow, it's very beautiful.
你看它头，一个鹰头像一个毛绒球一样的，底下一个明显的长一个胡须，是吧？一个很胡须，像这个鸡样的，像这个母鸡，说实话它很温顺，而且它也是我们讲的，它的集药用啊、滋补、观赏于一体的一个太好乌鸡。对，保种场当中关键我们就要做好太好乌鸡的一个保种啊、育种、育并进化、扩繁。 它可以提供总鸡是200万元，就是1年。你把育种做好了，那我们讲对社会所需要的太好乌鸡就提供了更好的一个品质。它就为了我们养护提供更优良的种鸡、种蛋、种苗，让我们养护再进一步去扩大。
With a beautiful and probably delicious chicken, we'll wrap up this edition of Global Business here on CGTN. I'm Zhu Jifeng. Thanks for watching. CGTN continues with more news and views. Stay with us.
This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.